Well, hello. This is National Sales Director Summer Fortenberry, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you again this month on a topic that I am so passionate about. I know last month we talked about team building and what it takes to how to use the dream book effectively, why to use one, and to really share with passion. And today I want to talk to you about something that I think it plagues us all as women, including myself. It's still a daily struggle for me. I think in the society we live in, it's such a struggle, and I think that mastering this, not that we ever can completely master it, but really getting a grip on this whole thought and process through God in our life can change our entire life, our family's lives, and we can teach other women to walk in victory when we really start to understand the importance of who we are and why God made us, and that He did make us strong enough and give us all the gifts and abilities that we need to accomplish all of the amazing things that He has called us to do. And gosh, that can be such a struggle internally, can it? You know, as women, I think especially most of the women that are in Mary Kay, we have an amazing amount of self-confidence. We exude it on the outside, we dress up pretty, we look great, we carry ourselves great, and our self-confidence are all the things on the outside. But what about our self-esteem that's on the inside, and the things that we say to ourselves and the way that we love ourselves, and really the things we say to ourselves on the inside are what attract other people to us or don't, and what make us love ourselves, respect ourselves, which is what draw other people to us. And our vision is stronger and clearer when we know who we are in God's creation and that we are enough. Because it seems like on magazines and in magazines and books and movies, we're constantly compared to these women that we're not supposed to look like, think like, or act like. Yet it's constantly held up to us that this is what we should be. And then God calling us to do this other thing, this big thing in our life, seems to be completely opposite from what the world says. And so today I want to share with you that, God says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I look at my baby girl every day and think about how perfect she is, and how in the world can her little tiny body work just like ours when she's just so small. But do you know that God created you in the same beautiful way that Allie Kate is? And I think as we grow and we age, we forget that sometimes, and we give our power away, and we forget about the God that lives in us. We don't even have to believe in our greatness, ladies. We just have to believe in the greatness of the God who lives in our hearts. Because He is great, even when we are weak or struggling. And so I want you to think about that today. There's a book by Og Mandino called The Greatest Miracle in the World, and I love it. And he talks about, at the end, there's a memorandum from God. Like, God has written you this amazing love story. And if you get a chance to read it, you definitely should. It's a short book. But he talks about the hundreds of thousands of miles of blood vessels that it takes to pump your heart every day. He talks about that there's enough nuclear energy in your body to, basically explode the whole planet if God chose to. The intricacies of all the receptors in our brain that allow us to see and hear and experience this beautiful world. And how in the world can we ever think that we weren't created for something great when God spent so much time in the details of us, just in our bodies? And it's so easy in our smart society to forget the miracle of life, and to forget, we say the miracle of life, we think of a baby, but you're a miracle. Do you know that you're a walking, living, breathing miracle? And if God took time to design all those details before you were ever even a thought in your parents' minds, you have to know that He is calling you to do something great. And as I look at Allie Kate and I think about how perfect she is, and I know that she's going to grow just like my boys have, and I know that they're going to grow and be bigger, and as they get bigger, they'll make bigger mistakes, and there'll be things that they do that I don't agree with, and choices I wish they would make differently. I'm sure my mother still doesn't agree with all of my decisions, but what I know is that she loves me for who I am, not the decisions that I make. She knows my heart. And in that sense, I think God has given mothers a gift to be able to see their children for who they are, not for the decisions they make. And that God sees us that way. And He loves you Even when you're not perfect, aren't you glad that you don't have to be perfect to be used by Him? If you think about the men of the Bible who did incredible things, David, Moses, they made big fat mistakes as well as had great victories. So, I want you to know today that you don't have to be perfect to do great things. And in coaching with directors and consultants, that's the one question that I hear more than anything else, day in and day out, is, Summer, what's wrong with me? Not, I'm struggling with this skill or I'm struggling with that skill, but maybe she's just more blessed than I am because she gets better people. Or, comments like that all the time. And what's wrong with me? Why can't I move forward? And I want to tell you today that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you at all. You just need more activity. And you really do want to spend time working on you daily. That's why we say personal growth, development, conference calls, and all the things that we do. More than anything, it helps grow you. The directors and I do a book study every Monday morning. It grows us. And when we grow us, it grows our self-esteem, which grows our businesses as a side effect. It's not even the direct goal, but because it grows us, it grows our businesses. It grows our teams because it grows our passion, because we get more clear on our vision. And so nothing is wrong with you. You need to complete a booking bubble sheet every single month. You know that. You get your little bubbles out and go crazy booking. You can't ask 2 people to book and expect to have a full date book. Are you coachable? Do you talk to your director every single day? If not, that's something to change. But sometimes we don't talk to our director because we don't believe we're worthy of her time. It's that self-esteem thing again, isn't it? Or we don't book one more party because we're scared someone's going to tell us no. It's that self-esteem thing. It all comes back to what we say and believe about ourselves. And if we're telling ourselves a story that we are not worthy or we're not perfect enough to lead, then it's going to be hard to change that. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so you got to change the story that you're telling yourself. What does your story look like today? And I want to ask you, if your little girl wrote the same story about herself, would that be acceptable to you? Because confident women raise confident children. And we have to learn to walk as though we would want our children to. When we walk in victory, they will. And the same thing is true in our Mary Kay teams. When we are confident, our teams will be full of confident women, and they will claim victory when we do. When we falter and we're not growing and we're struggling with our self-belief and our self-worth and our self-esteem, our people do as well. So, booking bubble sheet. Are you coachable? Are you completing your 6 most important things to do list every single day, you guys? I wouldn't know what to do tomorrow if I didn't have my list made for tomorrow. My list for today included making this video. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and I'm very excited about making this, although it'd be very easy to just be lazy this Sunday. But it was on my list to do. And I've been behind because of the baby, so here I am, Sunday, getting it done. So are you making that list? Because that's your boss every day, so you know what to do, and that list should include new bookings, new interviews, new leads, customer calls. You know what needs to be on it. Booking your guests for the meeting, all those different things. Do you attend everything? Or do you start making excuses for why you can't go? And, sometimes we don't go because, again, we don't know people or we feel like we might not fit in. It's back to that self-esteem thing again, isn't it? So that's another thing to ask yourself. Are you showing up? Because success 80% is just showing up. Are you looking? Inner circle is not an option. Like, it has to be done week in and week out. And what story are you telling yourself about that? Well, I've never done it before, so I can't do it. Or I'm not as, I don't want to be as busy as her. Or what story are you telling yourself? Instead of, well, Summer did Inner Circle every single week for 1 year and earned a pink Cadillac. Do you want that to be your story? You have to change what you say to yourself. If you want your results and activity to change, it all comes back to what's in our heart and what we're saying in our head to ourselves every single day. Draw a line in the sand. I am offering an all-expense paid beach trip. There are not many nationals that do that. I hope you guys know that. And I'm so excited about it. Last year was our first one. This year is our second one. Friday night, you'll come in and we will have dinner. We are staying at a multi-million-dollar beachfront house at Ocean Isle Beach. And this beach house is where we built our national area. It is where we used to actually have our fall retreat. before we got too big and had to move to a hotel. So it's a very special place to us. So Friday night we'll have our opening. Saturday we'll have some breakout classes. We'll have some time on the beach. We're going to have lunch and breakfast. Saturday night I'm going to take the gold medal achievers, those who've gotten 5 or more team members in a month, to dinner. Sunday we'll have worship and a closing commitment service, and it's going to be awesome. Last year the women that attended, 90% of them became sales directors. I am looking for 15 amazing, passionate women to join our ranks in our national area as brand new directors before seminar. Are you one of them? And you can't just say that, yeah, you are one of them. You have to make the commitment to get this activity done this month. And so it takes 3, 4, or 5 personal recruits in the month of February, along with finishing your STAR by March 15th. And you must be a red jacket by the end of February in order to attend. And if you really want to be a sales director, it will not be an option for you to draw the line and say, this is the challenge that I will not complete. Like, it is getting done no matter what I have to do. There is plenty of time left. It doesn't matter if you have done anything this month so far. If you are passionately committed to the goal, the numbers never matter, you guys. Are you passionately committed? It just takes 10 active recruits to get to DIQ. 1 senior consultant, 3 red jacket, 5 team leader, and 10 you're in. And we have had women time and time again get that many in a month or less. So it doesn't matter where you are when you make the decision that I'm going to be a director and I'm going to use this Winners Weekend Challenge to catapult me to where I want to be. And I'm going to change the story I tell myself. And I'm going to quit saying, I'm trying to be a DIQ. I'm trying to get in my red jacket. Don't try. I am going to be a red jacket by the end of the month. I am going to be a DIQ. I am going to be a sales director by seminar. We are going to be in the Diamond Circle this year, and it's going to take 15 new directors to make that happen. If you want to know where you fit in the bigger goal of all that, that is something we're passionately pursuing as an area. It's really important for our area growth too. But after you make the decision, it's easy. Making the decision is the hard part, you guys. I love the story in the Bible in 2 Kings, and it's about Elisha, and Stephen Furtick talks about it in his book, Greater. And he has just been promoted to the senior prophet in Israel. And it's in 2 Kings 4. And there is a lady who has just lost her husband. He's passed away. And all the creditors are coming to take her children into slavery because she doesn't have enough money to pay them all the money that her husband owed her. And Elisha asked her in verse 2, tell me, what do you have in your house? Why is he asking her, what do you have in your house? Her husband just died. She owes all these men money. They're going to come take her children away. She is terrified. And she answers, she has nothing in her home except a little oil. I think this is such a powerful story for so many reasons. God doesn't ask us what we don't have. He asks us what we do have. He has given you gifts and talents and abilities, everything you need for what he's called you to do. Even when you feel inadequate, he will fill in the gaps of your inadequacy. And so he tells her to go into the city and to gather all the jars that everyone has. He doesn't tell her just to go get some, you guys. He tells her to go get all. Have you asked everyone? Have you asked them again? Have you asked them passionately? She goes and gets all the jars and brings them back into the house and closes the doors. And she starts to pour that little bit of oil that all she had, her gift from God, into those jars, and a miracle happens, and she has enough to fill all the jars, even though she didn't have that much. He miraculously, he added his supernatural to her obedience to listen to what Elisha had told her, and all those jars got filled up. And when she sold all that oil and all those jars, it was enough to pay her creditors and then some. Isn't that an awesome story? He's asking you today, you guys, what you have, and are you willing to use all that he has given you? Because he will create miracles at your bookings, and create miracles in your interviews, and create miracles in your busy schedule when you have a busy schedule and you're doing all that you can. But sitting at home on Facebook or watching TV is not doing all you can. Missing your Monday night, Tuesday night, or Thursday night meeting is not doing all you can. Missing career conference is not doing all you can. Missing your booking time is not doing all you can. Not talking to your sales director is not doing all you can. Are you doing all you can? Whatever the reason, something keeps us from realizing what we have is more than enough for God. He has a history of using what little someone has in order to do great things that only He can do. One of the enemy's most effective strategies is to get you to focus on what you don't have, what you used to have, or what someone else has you wish you had. He does this to keep you from looking in your house and asking, God, what can you do through what I have? So what do you have today? I love the quote by Erma Bombeck, and it says, when I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me. Another story I love is about Queen Elizabeth. Wrong gender, great ruler. That about sums up the life of Queen Elizabeth I of England. Elizabeth ruled what came to be known as the Golden Age of history until 1603. In 1588, King Philip II sent the Great Spanish Armada to conquer England once and for all. As the Armada was approaching, Elizabeth said to her troops at Tilbury, I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too. And think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any prince of Europe should dare to invade the borders of my realm. At the end of her reign, she said to her people, though God hath raised me high, yet this I count the glory of my crown, that I have reigned with your love. I love the fact that Queen Elizabeth followed her heart and ignored her deficits. She wasn't perfect either. God will always strengthen those who are willing to look at their weaknesses in the face and say, you cannot stop me. And it says, Lord, give me the heart of a king and the things that you call me to do. I will not allow my weaknesses to stop me from fulfilling my destiny. And so, guess what? God calls imperfect people to do great and amazing things because He gets the glory. And today, I want you to make the decision that you're not going to allow your inadequacies to hold you back anymore. That you are going to push forward, and that when you feel inadequate, you're going to lean on Him for your strength and allow Him to fill in your gaps, because they can't be an excuse anymore. Satan wants you to continue to use them as an excuse for why you're not moving forward, why you're not bettering your family's life, and in doing so, you'll change thousands to millions of other women's lives, ladies, in deciding, I won't let this hold me back anymore. I am not perfect. These are things I struggle with, God. Help me. And fill in my weaknesses with your perfect and holy self. And He will. Be bold and courageous in all that you do. We want to raise a generation of confident children. We want to raise a generation of confident, amazing leaders in the Fort Mary faith area. That is my passion. It doesn't say perfect women. Confident women are women who act in spite of their weaknesses, move forward to conquer their dreams no matter what. Make a commitment this month for the next place in your career path. Quit letting yourself off the hook because you're not like her, you don't dress like her, you don't do this like her. So what? You're you. And God has called you to lead a certain group of women, and there are a certain group of women praying for you daily who need a different life, and they'll never have a chance at one unless you step out of your comfort zone and get out of your head and get your head and your heart all together. It takes both. We can have something in our heart but don't take action because we don't have our head wrapped around it. And a lot of you know this story, but I want to be a national sales director from my very first seminar, only 60 days old as a consultant. I watched the national sales director's debut on stage, and I knew that's what I was called to do, no doubt. And my business grew every year. I was very successful. Life was in a great place. I became a top director and kind of got stuck there. And stuck is stuck at any level, whether it's in a red jacket, team leader, DIQ. And getting to the next place is always involving the same part of our brain to make a different decision, to get our head and heart both around it. My heart was in being a national sales director. And as a top director, I had proven that I knew how to do the activity it took to be that kind of excellent leader. And my son went to school on a March day, and I had gone through a divorce that year, and a lot of terrible things had happened, and I was just being a victim. I showed up to everything I had committed to do, but I wasn't running after that dream that God had called me to with so much tenacity, like I should have been. And my son's friend, Ian Maddox, was dropped off at school that day, and he was 10 at the time, and he passed away. His mom dropped him off, and before she could even get home from dropping him off, they called her to let him know that he had been airlifted to Charlotte, and that little boy never took another breath. What a sad day that was. Noah and I laid in bed that night, and we talked about Ian being in heaven. And I said, Noah, I'm going to work really hard and finish my national area, and I'm going to be gone a lot for a year. But then you and Joshua and I are going to go to Disney for a week when we finish and celebrate. And it's going to be so much fun, and we're going to start counting down on a calendar. And we're really going to make it happen. And he looked at me with his big brown eyes and said, Mommy, I think I can save change faster to take us to Disney than you're going to reach your goal. Because you've been saying you're going to do it for a long time. And you guys, my heart had been in it, but my head wasn't. My head was so engulfed in all the chaos and turmoil of those years of my life that I had lost sight of the thing that God had put in my heart 10 years earlier. And in that moment, it became so very clear to me, and I got my head and my heart around it. And in 14 months, we built 17 new directors. So many of those 17 are your sales directors. If I hadn't gotten over myself and gotten my head and my heart together, you probably wouldn't be in Mary Kay today. I want you to think about the women that are waiting for you to step into your greatness, to make a different decision, to know that you don't have to be perfect, but God's given you enough. And He will supply what you need along the way. And when you need a miracle, He'll make them happen if you show up and do your part. Our national area debut was nothing short of a miracle. That many directors debuting, I had worked hard for many 14-month periods in my career before. What made that one different? I was clear. I wasn't perfect, any more perfect than any other time in my business, but I was so willing to listen to Him and to walk daily and be so disciplined in what I was doing. And it was tough, but was it worth it? Oh, yes. Now as a national sales director, oh, goodness, the freedom and flexibility in my schedule for my boys and my precious little Allie Kate. Oh, my gosh, I'm so grateful every day that I really exercised that discipline part of me for those 14 months because it changed my life forever. It changed my children's life forever. It changed our leaders' lives forever and ever. And it will change millions of women's lives because I worked hard for 14 months. Are you willing to make a short-term sacrifice? It won't take you that long to become a director or anywhere close to it. So it won't take that much discipline. Are you going to be at Winners Weekend? Because that's where it really starts. If you're committed to doing something great before seminar, you're not going to miss out on this trip. You will not let that opportunity pass you by. So decide today to stop allowing your inadequacies to be your excuse to a better life for you and your family and for the women that are counting on you, the women that you don't even know yet. I am so excited, Fort Mary Faith area, for the next 5 months to race to the seminar finish. We are going to have red jackets like crazy. We are looking for a sea of red, 20 new red jackets this month, 15 new sales directors by seminar, 10 new Cadillac drivers, 10 Unit Club achievers. We have audacious goals, and we have the 5 biggest months of the seminar year left. Are you going to sit on the sidelines and watch at seminar from the seat? Or are you going to be on the stage as one of the women claiming victory? That I stepped into my goal in a bigger way because of the big team goal, and I wanted to help the team win. But guess what? When you help somebody else win, you win more. You win the most. It changes your life the most. So thank you for showing up to your weekly success meeting so that you're able to hear this video tonight and choose to step into your greatness today. And there will be so many miracles along the way. I can't wait to celebrate you as a brand new red jacket, a brand new sales director, or a brand new Cadillac director, a brand new Unit Club director. To the directors out there, claiming your first Diamond Bumblebee at seminar, or whatever your big win is, there are so many to choose from. You guys, make February's finish huge. I'm cheering you on to a fabulous and incredible February.